Flights have resumed in Jeju after winter weather stranded 90,000 passengers on the island. In just the first month of 2016, South Korea's top 10 business groups have already lost 5% of their market value. South Koreans underestimate their health more than any other OECD nation. And an online map from the U.S. Embassy in Seoul doesn't include Dokdo as part of South Korea. I'm Chance Dorland, and this is your Korean news update for Wednesday, January 27th. Brought to you by Korea FM in association with the Korea Observer. For more news, talk radio, and independent music from the Korean Peninsula, subscribe in the iTunes Store with your favorite Android application or visit koreafm.net. Flights and ships are now moving in and out of Jeju after a heavy snowstorm stranded 90,000 people on the island. The Korea Herald reports over the weekend more than 1,200 inbound and outbound flights were canceled after the heaviest snowfall in 32 years and rough winds hit the popular vacation destination. Over the 3-day airport shutdown, passengers voiced frustration with both airport authorities and airlines, with allegations that budget air carriers and even the state-run airport lacked plans for such a large weather delay and instead shifted responsibility to customers. While some stranded travelers received relief packages of food and blankets, a shortage of supplies left many empty-handed. And despite being a hot spot for Chinese tourists, no Chinese-speaking officials were available at the airport until Saturday morning. The Herald reports the Transport Ministry has confirmed Jeju's airport has no specific protocol for heavy snowfall, and local government decisions followed existing guidelines from other regions. In the first month of 2016, South Korea's top 10 business groups have seen their stock value plunge. The Korea Herald reports overseas markets are to blame for the nearly 5% drop in value since the end of 2015. Analysts point to a slowdown in China's economy, the U.S. Federal Reserve's tightening of key interest rates, and cheap crude oil prices, as these factors have a large impact on South Korean firms whose revenues mainly depend on exports. However, so far this year, South Korean business groups that cater to domestic customers or focus on cultural content, such as CJ and Lotte, have shown growth. While the Republic of Korea is near the top of the OECD in expected lifespan, South Koreans underestimate their health more than any other member nation. The Han Korea reports the percentage of South Koreans 15 years or older who report being in good health, known as the subjective health rate, is just over 35%, far below the OECD average of 69.2. And while in New Zealand, the US, and Canada, where the percentage of people 15 years or older who report being in good health is as high as 80 to 90%, the only two countries in the OECD with a subjective health rate below 40 are South Korea and Japan. Korea's gap between objective health indicators and subjective health assessment is said to be due to socioeconomic factors. And a map posted on the website of the U.S. Embassy in South Korea does not list Dokdo as part of the ROK, and also describes the body of water between the Korean Peninsula and Japan as the Sea of Japan rather than the East Sea. The Korea Times reports the map titled My Travel Map in Korea is provided by Google and tracks where U.S. Ambassador Mark Lippert has traveled since taking office in October of 2014. Last week, Japan's foreign minister renewed the stance that Takashima, the Japanese term for Dokdo, belongs to Japan and the country will continue to promote its control over the area. Today we'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine with a high of 2 degrees and a low down to -9. Then for tomorrow, Thursday, a bit warmer, a high of 3 with a mixture of clouds and sun. You can subscribe to the Korean News Update podcast through the iTunes Store or with Android podcasting applications. And for more news, talk radio, and independent music from the Korean Peninsula, visit koreafm.net. I'm Chance Dorland.